Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a quick look at a smartphone gimbal, something I haven't done in quite a long time, to be honest. And this one is a little bit different. First and foremost because it's not a 3-axis gimbal. The ones that I've looked at in the past have all been 3-axis, meaning it can do the pan, the roll, and tilt. This is a 2-axis gimbal. But the reason I'm more interested in looking at it, it's a $69 gimbal. So today, we're going to take a look at the Zhiyun, because apparently I've been saying that wrong for a long time, Smooth X 2-axis gimbal. So let's just go ahead and open it up, get everything out of the box, take a look at it. And we'll capture some footage with it and see what it looks like. Very nice hard side carrying case with the branding. I might be more inclined to stick this into a suitcase or a backpack. There's a USB-C cable, some documentation and a service card, a mini tripod, folds out to be very, very slim, and then the gimbal, as you can see here. It does have the Zhiyun branding on it, some instructions here. It says flip 180. Let's go ahead and take all this off. So it looks like we spin this around, and then you pull it out just a little bit, give it a little twist, and the whole thing kind of flips like this. So it does not do 360 like you might expect. However, you can pull this out. Oh, and look at that. You've got a selfie stick. It's not intensely long or anything, but it does get it far enough away from you that you should be able to get some decent wide angle footage that way. And this does fold up to 90 degrees or back to straight, as you can see. There's a power button here on this side with a battery meter, and there's a sticker on here that mentions the phone camera direction should be that way. Down on the bottom, we have a tripod mount. We have a joystick here in the middle, mode button, record button, and what looks to be a zoom button, which I would assume all of those are mainly going to be working inside of their app. They have an app called ZY which I have already installed on my device. But I guess let's just turn it on and see what it does. Held the button until all the lights came on. The status LED started flashing. It is flashing blue, which makes me think that Bluetooth is ready to pair. So I'll open the ZY app, hit the camera button. Device connection immediately popped up. Connect. Bluetooth pairing request. And it wants to do device activation. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be back in a bit. Well, several hours later, ran out of time earlier, I have the ZY app installed on my phone. I've gone through the activation process for the Smooth X, and so now to go back to what we were looking at earlier, you give it a little twist here, a 180-degree twist, pull it out just a little bit, and give it a twist this way until it does that full rotation. You should be able to go ahead and put the phone in, which is actually done by pulling these both apart, which means my iPhone 11 here can actually fit in with a case on, just barely. The case is a little thick, so it doesn't fit in quite perfectly, but it does get the job done. Then you hold the button here on the side until it lights all the way up. You see it's flashing green here, and then after hopefully a few seconds, but I think at this point if I hold the mode button for 2 seconds, it should hopefully power up. I think I had it locked. So you hold that button for 2 seconds. You see it goes limp right now. If I hold it for 2 seconds again, it powers on, it's ready to go. I had this in the locked position so it couldn't do anything. But at this point, you're able to see my overhead camera there. I can do a little bit of moving around, and it kind of slowly adjusts with it. Turn side to side, and again, it'll slowly adjust. If I go into the 3-dot menu over here, the settings menu, there's a gimbal section where I can do walking or running. There's a follow mode, PF mode, L mode, roll and pan following mode, joystick speed, slow, medium, or fast, zoom speed, invert, pan, and tilt controls. Press M button, goes default, or switches between photo and video, or does the shortcut menu. You can do a calibration of it, auto calibration. You've got some video controls in there as well. Now, one thing I have noticed here, there's a glamour effects button, but that does not work when you're in 4K or 60 FPS. Of course, you can set the video settings over here. 4K 24 is what I've got it at right now, because that's what I'm filming this at. And there's not really a good way to show it to you except just to kind of do it at this angle. If I go back over to 1080p, I can draw a box around myself, and then at that point it will track me as I move around. It'll keep me in the frame, so I can go sideways. It'll keep my face in the frame. The glamour effects button, and turn all sorts of effects on here. So there's an autocorrect, and then there's like a face shape, just all kinds of things that realistically you're not going to want to use. I do highly recommend, if you are taking a look at this, there's a video from Zhiyun over at Potato Jet, talked all about this, and he went through all of those effects. I don't know if I will now that I've taken a look at his video, but they are there if that's something you're into. You can make your eyes look bigger, you can make your face smoother, your skin smoother, but it only works in 1080p, so I probably will not spend a whole lot of time on it. There's also the zoom button over here, the toggle, so let me see if I zoom in, pull down to zoom in, I push up to zoom out. I can't zoom out any farther than that. We'll try it on the rear facing camera. So I pull down to zoom in, I push up to zoom back out, and I can't go out any farther than that, even though I do have that wide angle lens over here. So for whatever reason, it doesn't seem to have access to that wide angle camera. The worst case, I think I could just switch over to the Apple camera and be fine. There's also more manual controls in here, ISO and shutter and EV and all sorts of fun stuff like that. And gestures over here, identifying gesture. I know there are gestures. The Amazon site doesn't really list much in terms of that, but there are gestures to allow you to take photos and do panos and stuff like that. So anyway, let me go out and get some quick footage walking around with this. So far, I just walked around in my office here a little bit earlier. All right, very quick test. Walking around the office with the Zhiyun Smooth X. Takes a minute for it to spin, but again, it's a gimbal. It's gonna take just a minute. So far, it looks very smooth, but large part of that, I think, is the iPhone. So we shall see. I wonder if I do up, it starts to tilt, do down, it tilts the other way. I can kind of force it to turn faster, too fast. We're recording in kind of a dark room, so the footage looks bad. Looks very smooth, very stable. The one thing to keep in mind is that tilt, that angle is not going to be protected. So while you can turn and it'll slowly turn, actually right now it's not turning at all, which is really interesting. It switched from PF mode to L mode. So now it is following as I move around. Again, it's a gimbal. It's got several different modes of how it works. One is a locked on mode, which is what it was in. PF is pan follow mode, so when I pan around, it's going to stick to whatever I've got. And then the roll and pan follow mode means like if I do this, it should eventually tilt it sideways and then I roll it back. This would be really cool for like the Inception effects. Has anybody seen the movie Inception? It came out a long time ago. You young people nowadays. Anyway, I'm gonna take this outside and just get some good walking footage with it of myself and of my surroundings and whatnot. Then we'll wrap this up. So this is front-facing video using the iPhone 11, walking with the Zhiyun Smooth X. I've got it just at normal length. I don't have it extended or anything. And now I've extended it to the fullest length. It's definitely a little bit more wobbly this way because it's so much farther away, but it does make the framing a little bit easier. Although I can see it is bobbing up and down, so I'm curious how much of that's going to translate into the final video. But moving side to side, phone is doing this right now, and I'm not seeing a whole lot of it translating into the video, so that's nice. And of course I can always pan and tilt, turn left and right if I want to capture different parts of the scene, but I can't do any select me to focus and follow or anything. Now I've switched over to 1080 24p. I should be able to select myself on the screen. Now it's got me, so if I move out of the frame, it'll find me, move back out of the frame, it'll find me eventually. And it's going about as fast as you would expect. I think I can speed up the motion there. I can make it turn a little faster with some gimbal settings, but it's getting the job done. And now some sort of fast walking motion on the rear facing camera. I am behind the phone right now. And this is rear facing video, but facing me, so I can't see what I'm actually filming, but it should be a little bit smoother than if I were holding it out at arm's length, because I do have a little bit of stabilization from this gimbal. And now, because you can't really test a gimbal without doing a little bit of running, I'm gonna run and see what happens. So I'm trying to keep my left arm stable, but I'm running at a okay pace. And that's as far as you go. So as you'd kind of expect, this is not going to be amazing for running, but if you're willing to walk kind of slowly and kind of smoothly, like I'll slow down. I do have this fully extended again, which is like 12 inches. It says it's like 260 millimeters, which is supposed to be around 10 and a half, but it definitely feels a little longer than that. Again, if you're willing to walk kind of slowly and gingerly, it looks like you can get some pretty decent smooth footage up and down. And if you've got a phone that does any kind of stabilization on top of that, that's going to help a lot. The rear facing on the iPhone should do a lot of that. I don't think the front facing does. If it does, it doesn't do a whole lot on the up and down. I will also mention while I'm thinking about it, the handle, the grip on this is a little bit small. Obviously that's to help it fit in your pocket and just be much smaller in general, but holding onto this with a phone at full extension, it's digging into my hand a little bit, so I would recommend if you want to do that, put the tripod that comes with it on. That way you've got a little something extra to grab onto. There are also other modes I have not tested yet. There's a smart mode and there's like a time-lapse mode and pano and everything. Maybe so for the other modes, not so much a fan yet. I tried out the hyperlapse mode. As you see, it's just jumpy. Time-lapse mode wanted me to use a tripod. I don't have one on me at the moment, so I'll try that later. The slow motion was kind of cool, but again, I would need something better to film in that case. And the other cool thing, which I'll probably never use, but I thought I'd mention it, if I double press the mode button, it flips into vertical mode. So if you're filming for Instagram or TikTok or something, this would definitely be able to get some smooth footage. And for the sake of comparison, because I did forget to do it earlier, this is what video looks like from the front-facing camera on the iPhone. Walking at the speed I've been walking, you can see it's definitely a lot shakier, a lot jerkier, because I am walking pretty quickly. And I brought the Zhiyun Smooth X along with me on vacation. Also shaved my beard while I was here. I figured what better place to wrap up a video about this guy. The things I said earlier in the video still definitely apply. There's a lot of bobbing up and down because this does not have that third axis of stabilization. And I think you do notice that a lot more when you're walking on the sand, and it's very hard to walk deliberately and slowly because the sand is very unpredictable. But if you can be calm and smooth and stable with it, I think you can get some excellent quality footage out of this, very much depending on the phone that you're using. If you don't have a phone that has stabilization built in, this would be an amazing addition for it, especially at the price point. Zhiyun did reach out again, and they offered to send out a coupon code. So if you'd like to purchase one of these on Amazon, I think they're $59.99 retail, but it takes it down to like $42. So extraordinarily reasonable. It's like an $18 discount. And if nothing else, with this, you're getting a reasonably long selfie stick, a stabilizer that does do some stabilization, and if you buy the upgraded model, it also comes with a tripod and a carrying case and everything else like you saw earlier. Great little kit in my opinion. And as you can see here, I was able to fit this into the pocket of these athletic shorts that I'm wearing. So I brought it down to the beach in my pocket, assembled it down here, and I'm using it. Their app, their software, I think needs a little bit of work because as you saw earlier in the video, whenever I switched to the 1080p tracking mode, it lost sync. So there's probably just some software updates to happen there. But the hardware is solid, feels good. Stabilization's pretty good. Can't complain. For 40, 50 bucks, not a bad little device. So thanks so much to Zhiyun for sending this out for me to take a look at. Hopefully you enjoyed some of this little bit of footage I was able to show you of the beach. I'm out here with the family, and today is one of the sort of gray, rainy days. So I thought I'd finish up a video. So thanks so much for watching. I'll see you again in the next one. Bye guys.